Welcome, everybody, to the NFL Presidential Address for Week 8. Just a quick disclaimer. I am in Vegas. I am playing at the World Series of Poker. My first event starts tomorrow. It is Tuesday. I spent the entire day traveling. We normally tape the show on Wednesdays, but we're taping it today. And this is going to be an abbreviated version of the NFL Presidential Address. So if you guys are listening to this for the first time and you don't like what you hear, which will be a surprise, make sure to check back next week for the extended slave remix version of the NFL Presidential Address. Anyway, before we get into it, we're going to go through every game top to bottom. I just want to make mention, week 7, I went 8-5 on my picks up and down the board. I went 2-1 on my best bets, and I won my teaser. My record to date is 75 wins, 47 losses. My best bet record on this show is 15 wins, 5 losses, and my teasers are 5-1. Those numbers are absolutely outstanding, and they're being reflected in all the incredible comments that you guys are giving me. I really appreciate it. It means the absolute world to me. Anyway, today's show, we're going to look at all the games top to bottom. And of course, Andy Lang will be on as well towards the end of the show. Let's start right off the bat. Green Bay, while they were plus 3.5 versus Arizona with a total of 53, now it is 6.5 and likely will get to 7 with a total of 50.5. And ultimately, the reason is COVID. Pretty much the reason for everything these days. Most of the wide receivers on Green Bay won't be playing tomorrow night. And obviously that has been reflected in the line move. But either way, guys, I mean, I'm going to make this real simple for you. I mean, this is a big game. 7-0 Arizona versus 6-1 Green Bay. Both teams are just playing awesome. We look at the offense of these teams. Arizona, second best. Let me rephrase that. We all look at the offense with these two teams, but check out the defense. Arizona, second best team in points allowed, 16 per game. Green Bay, 8th in points allowed, 21 per game. Green Bay was lucky to get a win last week against Washington. I mean, Washington didn't even punt the ball. They moved the ball up and down the field. They were stymied 4 times in the red zone. What does that tell me? It tells me Arizona's a better team. Initially, my play was Arizona minus 3.5. I like Arizona minus 6.5 with the Green Bay wide receivers out even more. My pick on this game, pass on the total, Arizona minus the 6.5. Now we move our attention to Miami at plus 13.5 against Buffalo. The line was 48. It has been bet up to 49.5. Don't really quite understand that because Miami obviously struggling to score, but Buffalo can light it up, and the Miami defense is just terrible right now. I'm going to make this real simple, guys. I can't lay 13 in a division game, and I can't take 13 with Miami. I can't take the under in a game Buffalo's playing, and I can't take the over in a game Miami is playing. So this, my friends, is an outright pass. And let me just stop real quick and discuss this passing, because I'm hearing some comments where guys are mad. Why did you pass on this game? Have some balls. Let me explain something to you. I am a businessman. I am the co-founder of Wager Talk. I invest in private equity deals all over the place. I buy stocks. I'm big into the crypto world, and obviously I'm a sports bettor. What is the common theme for me when investing my money, regardless of whether it's crypto or sports betting or private equity deals? The common theme is we need to learn to say no. We need to learn to pass. When you can't pass on a company, you put your money in. When you can't pass on Bitcoin, you invest. And when you can't pass on a game, you bet it. Miami, Buffalo, pass. Carolina up next, +3 now, 46 on tap. They're playing Atlanta, and look, out of the blue, Atlanta playing good ball, but still somewhat the same old for the last few years. They had a nice lead against Miami last week and let Miami back into the game. Matt Ryan with a ridiculous turnover instead of icing the game. But unlike Atlanta of old, they marched back down the field and kicked themselves a game-winning field goal. Carolina, this team is a shell of themselves. 3-0 to start the season, 0-3 since then. Just a terrible, terrible performance coming from their quarterback. There is a chance Christian McCaffrey will play. We still don't know yet. But either way, I don't know what to suggest on this game, guys. Right off the bat, I'm not going to take Atlanta -3. I'm not going to take Carolina +3. But I do like under the total of 46. I don't think there are going to be a lot of points scored in this game. Next up is Philadelphia, -3.5 against Detroit. It was 3. Philly's taking some money. The over and under hasn't moved. It is still 48. And the bottom line here for me, guys, is I like Detroit in this spot. You know, the last 3 weeks, all I've been doing is lambasting Detroit. I've been making fun of them in good spirits, and I apologize. No, I don't. It's Detroit. Anyway, here's what we know. This team has lost 2 goals on a last-minute field goal. They were completely in the game last week against the Rams. Could have marched down the field to win that game. This team is playing much better and much stronger than they have in the past. They are showing moxie. They are showing fight. And I don't believe in this Eagles team. I had a 5% play on Vegas last week. It cashed for my clients. By the way, I went 5-0 last week for my clients. And I'm going to ride fading the Eagles again. Give me this team with a fight at home with a hook on the 3, and I'm going to take Detroit as my bet. I have no total in this game. Next up is one of the big ones, Tennessee -1 versus Indy. Total was 49. It's been bet up. There's 51 already on the board, and this is a big game. With Indy finally putting together a winning streak, Tennessee is rolling right now. I mean, look at who they have beat of late. And that terrible defense of theirs held KC to 3 points. This game is crucial for both teams. Look at the schedule for these teams over the next 4 games. And if Indy wins this game, they could make a run for the division. Indy has an easy schedule for the next 4 games after this. Tennessee schedule, a total nightmare. How do you call a must-win division game a bad spot for a team? Well, normally you wouldn't. I mean, I told you all last week Baltimore was in a bad spot. Everybody yelled at me. What do you mean, Prez? How could they be in a bad spot? They're playing a division rival for the lead in the division. And lo and behold, Cincinnati won outright. Well, this is the exact same situation Tennessee finds himself in. They beat Buffalo, a game that they had to win if they want to win the conference. They beat Kansas City in a revenge spot. This is a letdown spot for Tennessee, even though it is probably the most important game they've played so far this season. It's just really hard to keep your emotions up for 3 straight weeks. I mean, look, I love this Tennessee team. I've been telling you that all year. I think they're a Super Bowl contending team. I just hate the spot for this team. Plus, the Colts are finally getting healthy. Their O-line is coming together. We don't know about T.Y. Hilton yet, but the team is getting healthy, and they're putting a nice run together. They look good against San Fran. Carson Wentz is throwing the ball. I like Indy here. My pick on this game, Indy plus the 1 and over the total. Next up is the Rams -14.5 versus Houston and a total of 47. I really don't know what to tell you guys here. Houston's a shell of a football team. I think Houston would struggle to win the national championship in the NCAAF. Okay, that might be an overstatement. But I mean, this Houston team doesn't even look like they're trying. With that said, the Rams, and we saw this against Detroit, they cannot cover these big numbers. I am not betting this game, but if I had to, I would take Houston. Cincinnati playing the Jets, -10. The total was 45. It is now 43. Who knows who's going to be playing quarterback for the Jets? They just picked up Joe Flacco. Will he be ready? Is the guy that I don't even remember his name who came in last game going to be playing? Does it matter who plays? This Jets team is terrible. And this Cincinnati team, like I've been saying for the last few weeks, is for real. With that said, I can't take Cincinnati minus 10 points, and I can't take the Jets plus 10. I will, however, look at over the total of 43. I know that sounds crazy. How are the Jets going to put up points? But I think we can get 13 to 17 points from the Jets. And I think Cincinnati could name their score. So I'm looking at playing over the total of 43 points. Next up is Pittsburgh plus 3.5 against Cleveland. And I don't know how to bet this game. I mean, who's playing for Cleveland? Who's going to be their quarterback? Even if it's Case Keenum, though, I think Case Keenum right now might still be better than Big Ben at this stage in his career. We have a total of 42.5 on tap. I'm not going to take the side. I'm not going to take the total, but I do like under 42.5 points in this game. I think you're going to get wind. You're going to get cold. You're going to get Big Ben unable to throw the ball. We don't even know who's playing on the offense for Cleveland. I don't see a lot of points being scored in this game. My play under the total. Now we have San Francisco going into Chicago. -3, 39.5 on board for the total. I've been saying this all year, guys. This San Fran team is not very good. And now their record and performance, well, they prove what I've been saying. What do you need to do to win this game? What does San Fran need to do to win a game? Well, how about play the Bears? With that said, if they keep getting pass interference penalties, even UAB could beat them. But how can you play on this Bears team? They are just brutal. They can't even move the ball. They can't stop other teams. They have no real quarterback, no wide receivers, no tight end. And other than their front four on D, they just about suck crap at every single position. And their coach, he's a total joke. This Bears team in the last 4 games have had one game where they put up the second worst offensive performance in history, 48 total yards. Then last game against the Bucs, a 3 spot against the Bucs with their secondary all banged up. My pick, San Francisco, guys. I like San Fran -3, and I also like under the total. I know this total is very low, but can we really assume that the Bears can put up 17? Hell no. If the Bears put up 10, that gives San Fran 28 points still to cover the under. Take San Fran and take the under. Now we move to Jacksonville, +3. There are a few 3.5s out there with a total of 43.5. Man, Geno Smith is bad. This Seattle team, look, they look good on defense last against New Orleans, but not good enough. They're really struggling to move the ball. I like Jacksonville in the spot, and I know that's crazy, but this is a team that just won a game, then went on a bye. They've got to be feeling good about themselves. Their offense is starting to click. Trevor Lawrence looks good. They have a good running game, and I see no reason why they can't win this game outright. Take Jacksonville plus the 3.5, sprinkle a little bit on the money line. Now we have the Pats coming off of, holy moly, a 54-point game against the Jets. Trick play after trick play. Now they're playing the Chargers, who just had a bye, and before that looked anemic against the Baltimore Ravens. This is a terrible spot for New England, guys. The Chargers are going to be hungry to put that Baltimore game behind them. They've had 2 weeks to sit on it. They've had 2 weeks to prepare for New England. New England is coming off of a big win at home. Now they're on the road, crossing country. I think this game has blowout written all over it. I like the Chargers -5.5 points. Now we move to Washington against Denver. I mean, really? I have to handicap this crap game? Washington +3, total of 43.5 points. And I'll just tell you right off the bat, guys, I don't like the side here. This Denver team is a shell of itself. Washington can't get out of their own way. Although Logan Thomas might be coming back, and that'll be very helpful to the Washington offense. I like under the total of 43.5. I'm not betting it. It's just a lean. I'm likely just going to stay away from that game. Now we talk about Tampa Bay versus New Orleans. And again, and I'm sorry to do this, guys, it's an outright pass for me. I can't play Tampa Bay minus the 5 points on the road against New Orleans. This New Orleans defense is for real. And I can't play New Orleans because their offense is a disaster. I can't play the under in a game that Tampa Bay is playing. I can't play the over in a game that New Orleans is playing. Like all investments, the best way to approach investing your money sometimes is just to pass. Dallas minus 2.5 versus Minnesota, a total of 55 on tap. Guys, I'm really, really high on this Dallas team. I told you that all year. But I also think this Minnesota team is a lot better than their record suggests. I don't know what to do on the side in this game. As for the total, I like over the total in this game. I know it's 55 points, but I think with Minnesota's play action pass, we're going to get them putting up some points. And so long as Dak plays, this Dallas team has put up over 40 points 3 games in a row. No reason they won't continue to do that. Dallas and Minnesota indoors on a fast track take over the total. And then the Monday Night Football game, New York Giants 52 is the total, Kansas City minus 10. This Kansas City team, I mean, what a nightmare. They probably played their worst game under Pat Mahomes in the Pat Mahomes era ever against Tennessee last week. They got 3 points, and here they find themselves as a minus 10. New York Giants just came off a nice win. Daniel Jones looked pretty good. But with all that said, the Giants are missing 7 people on their offense, all injured. Kansas City has got to be so angry. I cannot tell you. They are playing for their playoff lives already this early in the season. I actually believe still in this Kansas City team. I think that they've been turning the ball over too much. That's something that can be fixed. My take on this game is Kansas City minus the 10 points. That's it, top to bottom, guys. We're going to go to Andy Lang now for some prop bets. And after that, we'll come back with my best bets and teaser segment.
Thanks a lot, Prez. Let's get to props. We're going to do 3 props in under 3 minutes. I got 1 over and 2 unders. Let's get into it. I like Big Ben Roethlisberger over 25.5 completions. He's gone over this total in 4 out of 5 games. And the one game he didn't go over was the blowout win against Denver when they really didn't need to throw. This game against rival Cleveland probably won't be a blowout. So I'm going to expect Pittsburgh to have to throw. And what we're seeing with Roethlisberger is it's much more of a dink and dunk quarterback. He just can't complete the long ball. His average completion has been less than 6 yards in 4 out of 6 games this year, which means shorter passes, but more completions. So I'm going to take the over completions, and I'm going to hope Cleveland gets up early. If Cleveland gets up early, look for a lot of dink and dunks to Najee Harris and the wide receivers to get over this 25.5 completions. Next prop, Alvin Kamara under rushing yards the last 2 games. Kamara's done a lot of work in the passing game, going for 179 yards receiving and only 122 rushing. This week he gets the Buccaneers, the number 1 rushing defense in the league, only allowing 64.5 yards rushing a game. Kamara's only averaging 3.7 yards a carry. He's probably going to average less than that this week. And I would expect Kamara to be used a lot more in the passing game rather than the rushing game, especially since Tampa Bay has been getting off the hot starts recently. I look for Tampa to get up early, and Kamara's rushing game might be a little bit irrelevant in the second half. So I'll take the under rushing. And another under rushing, Kyler Murray under 28.5 yards rushing. He's just not rushing the ball down the field, especially in the last 3 games. I predicted this before the season started, that Kyler would run way less to protect himself. This team depends on him being healthy. And when he's running and getting into a lot of contact, it really hurts the team. With the amount of weapons they have, there's no reason to put him in harm's way. He's dealing with a couple little injuries right now, especially one to the shoulder, and he's rushed for 10 yards, 6 yards, and 1 yard the last 3 games. This should have been a close game with Green Bay, but with the absence of Devontae Adams and Allen Lazard, Cardinals now are almost a full touchdown favorite. If they get up and Green Bay is struggling, Kyler Murray is not going to run much and could come under the center by quite a significant amount. I'll definitely take the under on this rushing total, Kyler Murray under 20.5 yards rushing. So to recap, Roethlisberger over 25.5 completions, Kamara under his rushing total, Kyler Murray under his rushing total. That's it for 3 props in 3 minutes. Back to you, Prez.
Andy Lang, everybody. Such outstanding stuff. Really excited to have him on the show every week. Andy knows teasers like I know sides and totals. Speaking of which, just to recap, 15-5 in my best bets on this show, 5-1 in my teasers on this show. Last Sunday for my clients, we all went 5-0. Was an outstanding week. I'm on a 10-2 NFL run for my clients. And here, guys, are your best bets for week 8. Indy -1, Carolina under the total, and San Francisco -3. That's Indy -1, Carolina under the total, and San Francisco -3. As far as a teaser goes, I will be passing this week. My apologies. I don't see anything available to bet teaser-wise on this board. That's it for the NFL Presidential Address. Remember, guys, if this was the first time you watched this show, we did do an abbreviated version this week. We will be back next week with the long version and a whole lot more info. I did this on a travel day, and tomorrow I am going dark for 6 days. Enjoy. Thank you all. Make sure to comment. I will respond. I'll be looking at the comments while playing poker. Be well, and let's keep on winning.